You step off a boat into a Greenland fjord, and the first thing you notice is this. It's not white. It's not a frozen desert. It's green. Low grass clings to the slopes. The water is dark and glassy. The air bites your lungs like clean metal. And ahead, barely visible at first, you see it. A house that looks like a hill, smoke rising from the earth. 1,000 years ago, Vikings built a real farming life right here, on the edge of the Arctic. Not a camp, not a quick stop, a society. But here's the question that matters. How does a community like that survive winter? Without the world's supplies, without forests, and without mercy from the weather. Today, you're going to walk into Viking Greenland, street level, step by step, until it stops feeling like a history fact and starts feeling like a place. If you love cinematic reconstructions like this, subscribe to Worlds Before Us, New Worlds, rebuilt one episode at a time. The real shock isn't the cold, it's that this place actually works. One weak link and the whole settlement fails. So let's start with the fjord. In Viking Greenland, the water isn't scenery, it's the road. Let's start where every Greenland story starts, with the water. You walk along the shoreline, boots scraping over stones. The fjord is quiet, but it's not peaceful. It's the kind of quiet that feels like it's watching you. And then you realize something. This isn't a coastline, it's a highway. In Viking Greenland, the sea is the road network. The fjords connect farms like streets connect houses. A boat slides past in the distance, low in the water, heavy with cargo. And you wonder, what could possibly be worth transporting in a land that barely grows trees? Hold that thought, because in 5 minutes, you'll see the one thing these settlers can produce that changes everything. But first, follow the path inland. You climb a gentle slope, and the farm emerges. From far away, it looked like a lump in the earth. Up close, it's shockingly deliberate. The walls are thick, layers of turf stacked like bricks, stone at the base where dampness would rot wood, a roof so heavy it looks like it's pressing the building into the ground. This isn't a building style, it's a survival strategy. You duck through a low doorway. Inside, the world shrinks. Firelight flickers, smoke hangs near the ceiling, and then you notice the real design choice. There's no wasted space. Every corner stores something. Every beam has purpose. Because winter will test every weakness this house has. Now step back outside. Because the house is only the center of the machine. The real question is, what keeps it running? You walk into the farmyard. You see storage sheds, work areas, tools, buckets, rope. And then the sound hits you. Animals. Livestock in Greenland isn't comfort. It's wealth, food, status, power. But livestock is also a gamble. Because here's the truth. No one romanticizes about Viking life. Winter doesn't just threaten you. It threatens your animals first. And if the animals die, the settlement doesn't struggle. It ends. So you follow the path toward the fields, the home field. This is the green heart of Greenland. Not wheat, not grapes, not apples, grass, hay. They cut it, dry it, stack it, protect it. Because every bundle is a future day of survival. How much hay does one cow need? How many animals can one farm afford to keep? How much can they store before the cold returns? This isn't a farm like in a fairy tale. This is logistics with a heartbeat. And it raises a bigger question. If everything is balanced so tightly, why would anyone choose to live here? You're about to find the answer. It's not just farming, it's identity. You keep walking, past the main house, toward a smaller structure, a church. It's modest. It doesn't dominate the landscape. But that's what makes it powerful. Because a church in Greenland means they aren't thinking like temporary settlers. They're thinking like a community that expects to be here. This is where people gather, where news travels, where marriages are recognized, where deaths are remembered. And if you stand still long enough, you can imagine it. A few figures arriving from neighboring farms, boots muddy, cloaks stiff with wind, a quiet greeting, a shared seriousness. Faith here isn't decoration, it's structure. But the church also hints at something else. These people still consider themselves part of a wider world. So where does that world connect? Back to the fjord, back to the boats. Now you return to the water, and the settlement feels different, because it's summer. Summer in Greenland is not nice weather. It's a window, a brief opening. And everyone moves like they know it. Boats travel more often. Supplies shift. People visit. Work accelerates. You see a small landing spot. Stones worn smooth from use. A boat pulled up and tied. A pile of goods waiting to be carried inland. And then curiosity hits again. If wood is scarce, what are these buildings made from? Where do the tools come from? Where does iron come from? You can't build a society on turf alone, so what do they trade? Here comes the part most people never picture when they imagine Viking Greenland. You walk past storage, barrels, bundles, carefully wrapped items. And now the settlement reveals its secret. Greenland is valuable, not because it's comfortable, because it produces things other places want badly enough to pay for. This is where Greenland stops being a romantic outpost and becomes part of an economy. Export goods mean ships return. They mean metal returns. They mean the settlement stays connected instead of becoming a stranded experiment. So when you show this section visually, make it feel like a transaction with the outside world. Men lifting cargo, a leader inspecting bundles. Quiet urgency, because every trade season matters. And now you understand why they endure this place. It's not only survival, it's opportunity. But let's bring it back down to the ground, back to the human scale. Because if you want viewers to feel it, they need to experience one full day, from morning to night. Morning. The fjord is steel grey. Wind moves in low sheets across the water. Smoke rises again from turf roofs. People step outside and immediately start working. Because idleness here feels dangerous. A tool is repaired. A bucket is carried. A rope is tightened. Animals shift and breathe steam. Midday, the home field becomes a factory line. Cutting, turning, stacking. Work that looks repetitive. Until you realize every movement is a countdown against winter. Afternoon, a boat arrives, or a neighbor, or a message. Because isolation is normal here and contact matters. Evening, light lasts longer than it should. The sky turns pale gold, then fades. The farm slows. The animals settle. someone checks the stored hay like it's treasure, because it is. In this moment, Viking Greenland doesn't feel like a myth. It feels like a real place with real people who made a choice. And the choice worked, at least in this moment, around 1000 AD at its peak. So that's Viking Greenland in 1000 AD. Not a nice prison. A planned farming society built into fjords and turf, running on hay, boats and discipline. If you want the next Reconstruction, choose what we walk through next. A full winter inside the longhouse, or a Greenland harbour day with ships arriving and cargo moving. Write your choice in the comments and subscribe to Worlds Before Us.